What's going on, everyone? So DAngelo Russell, I believe, will make a huge impact for the Lakers this year. He undoubtedly has always been a very good, consistent regular season player. This is a guy for the Lakers in limited time, went out and gave the Lakers 17 points on 50% from the field, 42% from three, and really was able to make an impact. And that should only improve this year with him having a full training camp, having a full offseason, and kind of having more of a understanding and role and being a little more comfortable in the position that he is in for the Lakers going forward. And I know a lot of people are not super high on DAngelo Russell, but this is still a guy that is 17, 5, and 5, right? This is a guy that can absolutely have an impact. He's not the best player on a championship contender or anything like that. He's not even the second best player, right? But him as like your third, fourth option between him and Austin Reaves, I think that's a perfect role for DAngelo Russell, and I do think he is really going to thrive. But he is still, to this day, in heavy just trade rumors and just the idea of him even being traded, and the Lakers basically kind of signed him just so that they didn't lose him for nothing, and that way they can go and trade him at some point this season. They even convinced DAngelo Russell to waive his no trade clause. And whether the Lakers decide to trade D'Lo or not, I think it comes down to his impact, right? But even beyond that, Austin Reaves is, I think, going to be the biggest factor and contributor, right? So the Lakers have talked about how they want to give Austin Reaves more point guard duties, and they want to put Austin Reaves in a position to kind of be the playmaker more and facilitate more. We saw it a little bit last season, and even in the playoffs, right? Like, especially in the Memphis series, they were just kind of letting Reaves have the ball, and he was the one making the decisions, making the plays, getting to the basket, all of that stuff. And he's a guy that played point guard in high school and college, so it's not like this anomaly, right? It's not like, well, I've played center my whole life, and now I got to play point guard. Like, what? No, it's a guy that he's very comfortable in that role. I imagine is going to have a lot more ball handling duties regardless this year, because I think he's going to be one of the key, arguably one of the most important pieces outside of like LeBron and AD. He might end up even being the most important for the regular season, because I really do think the Lakers lean heavily on Austin Reaves, and he gets to thrive. He gets to kind of be the guy a lot more on a nightly basis, kind of like what we saw again in that Memphis series. And if that's the case, and he does evolve into that type of player, then that makes DAngelo Russell a lot more expendable, right? Because the Lakers have plenty of size and depth and multiple guys that can move over to the 2 spot and replace of Austin Reaves, right? So if Austin Reaves ends up shifting over to the point guard position, you could bring in like Taurean Prince at the 2 guard, and now you got some 3-point shooting and some defense. Max Christie, if he develops and he ends up earning a spot in the rotation, there's another guy, right? So the Lakers have options in that regard. So D'Lo is expendable if need be, but I don't think the Lakers are just going to trade him just to trade him. But even later on down the line, right? Like, say 2 years from now, right? Does D'Lo want a new contract? And Lakers go, there's not really a point because Austin Reaves is going to be our point guard of the future. You also got to keep in mind that the Lakers do have Jalen Hood Schifino, who, yes, he can kind of be a combo guard. He can kind of play both. But the idea is that he's a 6'6" point guard that can be a starting level point guard, if not at worst, just a really good blue chip backup behind, say, an Austin Reaves. Right? If the goal really is to shape and mold Austin Reaves into a point guard type of player where he is the playmaker and facilitator, then you don't need D'Lo, because even in a backup role, it's like if you're trying to mold Schifino and he's supposed to be your guy of the future, then you'd want him to take precedent over a DAngelo Russell, right? So again, that makes him expendable. And Schifino, I mean, look, Schifino's got a couple years, right? He might see the court a little bit this year. You know, there might be games here and there where he plays like 15 minutes or something like that. But he's not ready yet to just like, hey, you're getting the backup duties. And the Lakers still have Gabe Vincent for the next couple years. So at least they are in a good position as far as point guards go, especially if Austin Reaves does end up becoming that guy and the Lakers were to trade DAngelo Russell this year. You still have Austin Reaves and Gabe Vincent that are running the point guard duties. And then you'd still have Shafino as like that third point guard if, knock on wood, something crazy happens. And you also have LeBron James who could, the Lakers won a championship in that regard. Also, like I mentioned earlier, Max Christie. Max Christie could end up being the biggest factor as to why Austin Reaves ends up playing point guard. Because if Max Christie really does evolve into the player that the Lakers hope he is, which is like a legit two-way starting level shooting guard that can create for himself, create for others, be a legit three-level scorer, shoot the three ball, basically everything we saw in Summer League. If he continues to have that progression and continues to be a quality player, and this guy is going to be one of the key core pieces for now and the future, then it would make sense to move Austin Reaves to the 1 because you want Christie to play the 2, right? And if Christie really does evolve into that guy, you're not going to ask him to come off the bench for his whole career. And this dude is, one of the best shooting guards in the league, or, a top 30 player or something like that, or maybe even a top 15, 20 player. I'm not saying he will, but you never know. I mean, the kid's 20 years old. He's got a long way to go. And he took some leap and bounds between last year and this year. So if he evolves and if he molds into that guy and continues that trajectory, and let's say he does get rotation minutes this year, which I don't think he's going to get a lot of just because the how deep the Lakers roster is, but I do think he gets minutes here and there, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he plays a few minutes every game this season. But he's a guy that if he molds into that, then you're going to need him to be the starting 2. And Austin Reaves is too good, too dynamic to where you want him to come off the bench. So how do you make that work? You don't want to go small and have, one of them play the 3, right? Although Max Christie is supposedly like 6'7" now, 6'6" now, so he could play the 3 if you need to. But you have Jared Vanderbilt, you have Rui Hachimura, right? It's very likely in the next 3 years, the Lakers roster is Austin Reaves, Max Christie, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and most likely Anthony Davis, right? That's probably the Lakers starting 5 going forward once the LeBron era ends, which is fine. I actually think that that's a great direction to go. I think Rui has the potential to be a 20-plus a night scorer. Max Christie, if he becomes a legit two-way 3-and-D style player, watch out. If Jared Vanderbilt becomes a legit two-way 3-and-D style player, watch out. The Lakers would have defense, they would have size, they would have versatility. I mean, they'd have everything. And hopefully still have Jackson Hayes and Cam Reddish and all of those other young guys that are on the roster, Lewis and stuff. The Lakers could be set for a very long time. And so I just think that, again, makes D'Lo even more expendable. And if Austin Reaves is moving into that point guard role, then it makes sense why there's so many reports and rumors and stuff about the Lakers eventually trading DAngelo Russell. I think at least this year, unless a just great home run trade becomes available, right? Whatever, something just becomes available that makes a world of sense for the Lakers. Unless something like that happens, then I do not see the Lakers trading D'Lo as long as he is good and consistent, right? If he has a really good year, and let's say he is a 17, 5, and 8 guy or something like that, then I don't see a scenario where the Lakers trade him. I don't. But I mean, time will tell. Austin Reaves is more than capable of playing the point guard position in a pinch, especially as he continues to grow, as he continues to get more comfortable, as he continues to build more size and stuff. Even like Jamal Murray, for the Denver Nuggets, he's their point guard, but he's more of a 2 guard than he is a point guard, right? There's a lot of guys in the league that are more of 2 guards than point guards. So Austin Reaves isn't prime Chris Paul, sure, but he is a guy that is more than capable of handling the ball, taking care of the ball, setting guys up, running the offense, and I do think you see that more. But if you start seeing this shift where Austin Reaves is kind of the guy that's primarily on the ball and D'Lo's playing off the ball a lot more, it's probably a good sign that they're probably trading DAngelo Russell. But time will tell. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. See how it looks. regardless, as long as the Lakers are good and have success, I care less. You know what I mean? I like D'Lo. I've been a defender of his. Because we don't even get to the Denver series if it wasn't for D'Lo. Does it suck, and am I upset that D'Lo just completely vanished in that Denver series? Of course, absolutely. But he wasn't the only one. The Lakers just didn't show up, period. And so I can't put all the blame on D'Lo. And now he has that out of the way. He's got his new contract. He should be more comfortable. I imagine he buys in a little more. So I don't know. I think he'll be fine. But Austin Reaves is going to be very telling as far as D'Lo goes. But anyway, as always, this is the discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think, get Austin Reaves ready and developed and move him to the 1, and then that way that frees up and you can trade DAngelo Russell and move Christie and whatnot to the 2? Do you think, no, you got to keep D'Lo? D'Lo's good. All right, Phil, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.